again with another video. Today it is dark, and I'm sorry if you guys can't see anything, but it is 6:30 on the East Coast and super dark. So I apologize for the poor picture quality. But today I was out hunting, and we had the weather was the biggest issue today because we had a huge windstorm come through here in New Jersey and blew a lot of trees down, took out a lot of power for people, and even as I'm driving right now, there's a lot of limbs and all kinds of stuff everywhere. So that's one of the issues that we had in the hunt. Obviously the wind is not the most favorable thing for hunting, but luckily it wasn't too bad. I was in a blind, so I wasn't up in a tree, which was nice, but some of the trees on the way over, they were down. There was a tree in the middle of the road down as I was coming back or going to the location to hunt. Came over the crest of the hill, came up on a tree just out of nowhere, and came up right in front of me, which was crazy. So we're still in our hunting clothes, obviously, you can see here. But yeah, as I was in the blind, I heard this huge crashing noise come down, and it turns out it was a tree. Just fell right, pretty much like 50 feet to the left of me, which was crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Right now we're just driving back. Sorry for the poor picture quality. I'm driving right now and there's no way for me to record with lights on because it's distracting, and some people think it's illegal, although it's not. It's distracting. But yeah, so it's kind of scary seeing a tree down in the middle of the road. I think there's another one up here. Something going on up here. It's pretty interesting. We got two cops behind us. We got a minivan in front of us, and some kind of issue. Not sure what the issue is. Two state troopers. What's up, guys? Welcome to the chat. How's it going? Something's going down over here. This is interesting. Two cops and a guy dressed up. This is live, guys. You're seeing it live. There's two cops on the side of the road and a guy with a mask on. The cops popped out of their vehicles while they were still moving. This is crazy stuff. Check this out. What's going on here? I'm going to try to pass it. Let me see if I can get around. So they must have been looking for this guy, honestly. The cops were pacing down back and forth on the road, and they were looking for somebody. And there were two cops behind me at once, which was kind of creepy. That's why I didn't want to put my light on inside my car. They were just pretty much pacing right behind me, which was interesting. And then I pull up on a minivan stopped in the middle of the road with its hazards on. and there's a guy in like a hockey mask, like an old hockey mask, just standing in the middle of the road with his hands in the air. And as he's coming through, 2 cops pull up and seemingly, are working to detain him, it looks like. So that was interesting. You never know what you're going to see on YouTube. You never know what you're going to see live. But yeah, that was fun. So we saw that, that's for sure. That was pretty interesting. I didn't expect to see that. It was supposed to be talking about hunting. But anyways, so yeah, I was in the tree stand and there was really not much going on. What's up? Hi, Max. Hi, what's up in the chat, guys? How's it going? So yeah, they're just in that tree stand. Huge tree comes down crashing. I'm like, great. And I'm like, this is a great place to be. What's up, guys in the chat? How's it going? Nice to see you guys. Welcome to the channel. So I'm thinking to myself, if a tree falls on me while I'm in this blind, that's not going to be, the most comfortable thing that's happened to me. So I'm praying to stay safe. Don't want to, injure myself or anything. And I also had my truck right next to a bunch of trees, so I'm like, maybe I should move the truck. Maybe that would be a wise thing to do. So I took the truck, moved it down the field a bit, and that way I could get out of get out of the tree's way. So I didn't want a tree to come down on my truck. That'd be pretty bad. Not as bad as it falling on me, but still wouldn't be fun. So we avoided that. I moved the truck down the field, came back up, and really didn't see anything. Unfortunately, it was just not a very active night. I mean, I don't know if it was the wind. It could have been the wind. It could have been the fact that it was about to rain. It could have been so many different things. I'm not exactly sure what the reason was. I was talking to somebody else, and they said, the deer might be bedded down due to the high winds. They're trying to stay warm and stay out of open areas like a field. So that makes sense. But it's very rare that I go out and see absolutely nothing. And I was out for a little bit under 3 hours. So I was out there for a good amount of time. Tried calling in some stuff. Really didn't see anything, unfortunately. That's just how it is sometimes when you go hunting. Sometimes you see stuff and sometimes you just don't see anything. So what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Leave a like. It really helps me out. Ask questions in the comments if you have any comments, or just don't want to say anything random, like hi. I've got no problem with that. But if you guys like the stream, it gets it out to more people, and we can talk about some more things. But yeah, right now I'm just driving home from my hunt. It was the last day of open archery season in New Jersey. Tomorrow starts the permit season, so if you don't have a permit, you can't hunt, and that costs another $28, so they're going to be getting their money soon. And you also have to buy zone-specific permits, so the zone I'm in, if I want to hunt in another zone, obviously I got to buy a whole nother permit, so that can start to add up pretty quickly. But I pretty much only hunt in 2 zones, so the pricing isn't too bad. I think it's like $28 for a permit, but if you want a buck tag on top of it, I think it's like another $30 or so. So that's something you gotta consider when you're going hunting. The open season is nice, the unpermitted season, because I think there's less people out, and also, the weather's a lot nicer, which is helpful, because nobody likes to freeze when they're out hunting. Sometimes you have to. So the weather's a lot nicer, which is nice. Especially when you're in a tree stand or something, exposed to the elements. It's not the best thing to be out in the cold weather. But that's why we bundle up. That's why we have jackets and stuff like that. So overall, it was a good time. It was relaxing. Can't do much while you're out there because you can't really make noise. So I couldn't really work on any work or anything I had to do. I'm also not out there to do that. I'm out there to hunt. But, when you see nothing for a whole night, it's kind of discouraging. But that was pretty interesting coming back on the way back home, seeing a guy with the hockey mask on with a Giants sweatshirt. You don't see that every day. that's for sure. And I didn't know what to do because there's people coming the other way. You got the minivan, the blinkers on, just sitting there. Who knows what's going on with that person? And then you just have two cops behind you, and they must have been looking for this guy. They must have had some idea, where he was or something, because they were pacing back and forth on this one road outside of where I was, and then all of a sudden they start following me, which is like, I'm like, what the heck's going on here? Like, I don't want to be followed by cops all the way home. And then they put their lights on, which made it even more exciting, but then they passed me. So yeah, started the live stream. That happened within like 5 minutes. So sometimes stuff like that happens, but I didn't want to be like starting a live stream while cops are following me, because I don't need to give them any reason to pull me over. So I slowed down to the side and started the stream myself. So I'm not texting and driving. But you guys see anything weird going on today? I know it's Halloween, so people are going crazy, I guess, You guys going trick-or-treating? Yeah, so Halloween night, you never know what you're going to see. Apparently people in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of rural New Jersey. I guess sometimes they got nothing better to do than walk on the middle of a back road with a hockey mask on and a Giants jersey. You do see some weird stuff in New Jersey, I'll give it that. You never know what you're going to encounter, that's for sure. Well, I hope you guys are having a good night, staying safe on Halloween, also known as Reformation Day for those of you who are Christians out there. It has a little bit more significance than just pumpkins and skeletons. We're celebrating, like, I don't know if it's the 500th year, but it's a 500 and something-th year of the Reformation. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's obviously a long time ago. But yeah, that's something, growing up, you don't really think about that kind of stuff. You just think about Halloween, like it's time to go trick-or-treating, or whatever you may do, walk in the middle of the road with a hockey mask on. Really, people do different things on Halloween, which is what we have to understand. But I didn't go trick-or-treating tonight. I tried to go trick-or-treating with the deer, but they were not having it. So, sometimes the deer, maybe they were staying home for Halloween. Maybe they didn't want to go out and, get some candy or whatever. So we have to, recognize that the deer, they have a family. They have to take care of their kids and make sure that they've got all their Halloween candy and stuff. So, tonight I guess they were staying home. That's all right. It's part of the game. But hopefully next time I go out, I'll see something, because now I got to pay an extra $28 just to go hunting, which we already paid for the hunting license, and you already paid to get your initial permit, and it's just a recurring cycling of payments to the state of New Jersey, which has nothing better to do than steal our money. But I'm glad I'm not an out-of-state resident. Well, it's a twofold thing. I mean, I'd love to be an out-of-state resident, so I don't have to live in New Jersey. But I'm also glad I'm not an out-of-state resident, because if I want to hunt in New Jersey, they charge you like almost $200 just to, get the necessary credentials to go hunting, which is absolutely insane, in my opinion. But I mean, I understand the premise behind it. It's the fact that, we're paying towards the system and the DEP and, all those fancy organizations that steal our money. So I understand why we have a little bit of a discount. We pay taxes and all that. But still, it's more than a little bit of a discount. I think it's like a sixth of the price, maybe a fifth of the price. It's really a huge difference. But most people probably don't want to come into New Jersey to hunt. I would imagine there's not a lot of out-of-state residents hunting in New Jersey. There's a lot better places to hunt around here. Pennsylvania, New York, they have some great hunting. But for someone like me who lives in New Jersey, it's nice to be able to, hunt in the backyard kind of thing. Go out, drive out somewhere, and have some fun. Do some nice hunting, particularly deer hunting. And if you guys want to check out some other videos that I have a lot of deer hunting videos lately. A lot of stuff on accessories, on finding different tools to use to make your hunt easier, different ways of setting up your bag for hunting. I highlighted my 5 favorite deer hunting items in my latest full form video. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, please check that out. That is pretty good. 5 different items, and I also have like a bunch of honorable mentions. But a lot of it's just like basic, stuff that everyone would need, like a gut knife, like a rangefinder or something like that. But I also have a few other interesting items that you might not have thought of inside of that video as well. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. It's on my channel. It's called my top 5 hunting or bow hunt items. Don't go without these. So if you guys are interested in something like that, please go give that a watch and give it a like, and please subscribe so I can get some more viewers and more people interested in this content, because I do all kinds of stuff. Right now this time of year, I'm just more focused on hunting because it's deer season, so it's pretty cool to be able to go out and see what we can do. But yeah, as the seasons change, the hobbies and interests obviously change. Ski season's coming up pretty soon, which is pretty exciting. My season pass ready to go. Super excited to get out there and start skiing. Before we know it, it'll be prime ski season. It'll be snowing and cold and everything, and I'm sure some of you guys don't like that, don't appreciate that, but it has to be cold for there to be snow. So, it's a catch-22. We don't like the cold weather, but we like skiing. You have to have cold weather to ski. So it's just one of those things. So I'm hoping that'll come around soon. It's sort of the time of year where it's just kind of cold and windy and rainy, but not snowy yet. So as we head into November, we'll be picking up some of the cold weather. Will start to pick up a bit, and hopefully by like December, middle of December, some of the resorts up here will start opening up. Yeah, when do you guys usually go skiing? I mean, there's all different kinds of climates around the world. I know in like Colorado, they could ski in, I don't know about October, but maybe. I know sometimes they go into May or June, which is absolutely crazy. One of the resorts up here in Vermont actually went till June a couple of years ago, which is pretty cool. Albeit they had like one trail open, which is kind of, boring, but when you think about the novelty of it, it's pretty cool to be able to go skiing, in the middle of June in the Northeast. You don't get to do that very often. So that's kind of cool. And I think there's another resort, I think it's Jay Peak, that makes a huge pile of snow and then ends up covering it all with like hay and tarps and all kinds of stuff to try to fit from melting. And then I think they open up like a summer fest for one day in like July, and they all go out there and ski on this little bunny hill that they made. But again, it's kind of cool, like to be able to go skiing in the middle of summer. It's a pretty cool thing to think about. So yeah, but we want regular snow. We want to have a good, nice cold season with a good amount of snow, because lately up here it's been cold, but it hasn't snowed a lot, which is obviously not ideal. And I like to have some natural snow. That way you can go off into the woods and to the glades and stuff and get on some nice powder. Groom trails are nice, but there's also something fun about dodging trees in the middle of the woods, which granted is not the safest thing in the world, but it's pretty fun when you have a good place to do it. Sometimes you try to find a good place and it ends up being terrible, and then you have to try to work your way out of the wilderness. What's up, Chevy Bush? How's it going? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're having a good night. Hope everything's going well for you. Yeah, I'm just recapping sort of how my night went with hunting. Unfortunately, didn't see anything, which was not very exciting, obviously, but there was a tree that fell down like 50 feet across from me, so I heard that. It was pretty cool. A very loud crashing sound, and I look out, and there it goes, big tree. So that had me a little bit worried because I was surrounded by trees, so you never know which one's going to fall down, especially in the middle of a storm, or a windstorm in this case. So you kind of have to be careful when you go out in those types of conditions, especially if you're in a tree stand or something like that. But I was in a blind near the edge of the woods, so I had some better safety on my side, which was nice. Didn't necessarily have to dodge anything. And I also parked my truck away from all the trees because, like I said, I don't know which tree is going to go down and when it'll go down. But we did have one go down. I had another go down on my way over. And then, like I said earlier, there was the crazy guy with the hockey mask walking around in the middle of the road, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a good night. Whatever you're doing tonight, I hope that you've been blessed. I hope that you're doing well, you're staying healthy, staying good. Hope your family's doing well. Yeah, we're heading into November now, guys. So that's pretty exciting, especially for deer hunting. It's when the rut really gets going. So hopefully we'll get some more activity in the woods, and maybe see some nice bucks, and maybe you guys will see some more deer content on the channel. Like I said earlier, I do have that new video up, which was pretty cool to be able to make something like that. I recently got a new mic, the DJI Mic Mini, which is a really useful tool. I mean, just seeing it compared to my old videos, just the difference in quality is night and day. And unfortunately, I'm not using it right now because I'm just driving home from my hunt, and I'm just using my phone speaker, phone mic, which is probably not the greatest quality, and I apologize for that. I also apologize for there being no video, or very limited video of just my face flashing as people's headlights come by. Most of my videos are not like this, but I figured I'd do a little live stream on the way home, tell you guys some of the stories of the hunt, and also see what's going on. But yeah, we'll get back out there in November, and hopefully the circumstances will be better, maybe some better weather. It's not the most exciting thing in the windy conditions. I personally wouldn't recommend it, especially if you're in a tree stand, but just gotta be careful. Watch out for dead branches, watch out for trees that look like they're gonna fall. Try to stay away from that kind of stuff. You should be fine. But yeah, we'll get into that new season and hopefully see some more activity. Shotgun season's also coming up in New Jersey, which I haven't participated in the past. I might do it, I might not, probably not. I like bow. But rifle season's going on in Pennsylvania very soon, and I hopefully will be participating in that, Lord willing. Last year harvested 2 doe with the rifle, which was exciting. I know it was fun. And I forgot, yeah, there's people outside trick-or-treating. Gotta watch out. Not a very nice night to get out, but whatever. Billy Joe, 1308, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Gotta keep our eyes open for all the kiddos out here trying to get that candy. It's funny looking at it from this perspective, because growing up, we were always the ones out trick-or-treating, and now that we're older and grown up, and now we get to watch people run around and ask for candy, which is funny when you think about it. I mean, I guess it's better than snow. I remember about 15 years ago, it snowed like a foot of snow on Halloween, which is crazy. And it ended up like messing up the Halloween season for everybody. And weren't able to go out trick-or-treating. So I think what they did was that they had like a trunk or treat. I don't know how you guys feel about those, but they had a trunk or treat like a week before Halloween, because they knew the snowstorm was coming. So that was pretty interesting. I wonder if these guys know about the unwritten rule of if your light isn't on, you ain't giving out candy. Hope people aren't coming up to our house because we don't have any candy to give them. Who's winning Worlds T1 or Gang? I have no idea what that is, so I don't know the answer to that one, guys. Well, thank you guys. Not thank you. If I could speak English. Thank you guys for coming onto the stream. I appreciate it. I'm going to be wrapping up the stream now because I'm back home. But keep it tuned to Everyday Tools. We got all kinds of videos on here. Hunting videos, tool videos, sermons, dirt bike videos, pretty much anything outdoors or outdoor related we have on this channel. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, which I hope you do if you're watching this, then please leave a like on this video and also subscribe and check out my other videos because I got all kinds of stuff on here for you guys. So I appreciate it. We're trying to grow the channel even more, getting towards 2,000 subscribers, which would be a pretty cool milestone, and I appreciate that, guys. So have a great night. God bless. Keep us in your prayers. I'll do the same for you guys. We'll see you in the next one.